What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sully Squad. Kind of like like I got the band back together. Had a really good show last week with my man Paul Spencer filling in. Mr. Cowboy. But me and Paul always like doing shows together, so we had a good time last week. And I got my squad back with me this week, so we're going to get into what was it? I guess we would say we had like an international flair this week. What do you guys think of those international games? Like, I got to be honest with you, I usually don't really like them. But I have to admit, I kind of thought, and I'll preface this by saying I didn't really see that much of them. I only saw bits and pieces because, I was busy running around Saturday and then I was busy running around yesterday, but I kind of thought it was kind of cool to break up like the monotony of the 162. What was your guys' thoughts on the Phillies being in London?
It was good. I watched it. First game was good because it was on Fox, better announcing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The ESPN, the announcers kind of, they were blah. But, split the series, but we'll get more into it. I liked it like you, so I'd like to see more of it. What about you, Diego?
In baseball, so many games, I don't mind it. If they did that twice a year, I wouldn't even mind it. 2 games in London, 2 games here, but like football's a different story. You only got 16 games. Like this year, Eagles had to sacrifice a home game. So like that's more like screw international games for that sport. But baseball, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, and it kind of evens out. I mean, the Mets lost a home game, the Phillies lost a home game, so big deal. You know what I mean? There's, like Diego said, there's a big difference between 81 home games and when you only have like 8 or 9. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, to your point, I mean, the Eagles kind of got screwed because that game that's in Brazil versus Green Bay, that could have a huge, I mean, I know Detroit might win that division anyway. Or even the Bears, I think, could be kind of a sleeper, but we'll get into that. But if Green Bay does win that division, that could be a battle for seeding. You know what I'm saying? Like that could be that could be a future game early in the year, and here we lose a home game. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. So I'm cool with the Phillies playing in London.
Yeah, definitely. I got a comment here. John Michael says, I'm not a fan. It was cool, but I hate the extra days off we had to deal with. I'm with Diego, though, not football, especially in Brazil, not feeling that at all. Totally agree. I mean, especially for the first game of the year. You know what I mean? Like you look at how many football fans, they go out and buy, like season ticket holders. You go out and you got season tickets for the whole year. And you already get screwed because you got to pay for the stupid ass preseason, and then the first home game it's like in Brazil. Like, gee, thanks. Like, you know what I mean? Like somebody in Philadelphia really gives a shit if they care about football in Brazil. I know I don't give a crap.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But all right. Well, look, I mean, we touched on kind of like them playing there, but what were your thoughts? Right now I'm looking at these standings here. Phil, because I mean, actually, if you think about it, we haven't done this show together in 3 weeks because 2 weeks ago was Memorial Day, and then last week, we were short. So looking at the standings here, you got the Phillies 45-20, and then you got Atlanta 35-28. They're 9 games back. Boy, I'll tell you guys, even with the Braves injuries, I didn't think there would be any way that we would have a 9-game lead. What's your thoughts? I guess what I'm saying is, like Sean is, I don't want to jinx it, but is this division already over, or do you think it can make a run?
No, I don't count any of like Atlanta. They can make some probably key acquisitions, but all in all, I think it's us and Atlanta. Mets, they're a shit show. Washington, you got to watch out for Washington. Washington, has our number like play-wise, as well as the Marlins. But I think mainly it's the Nationals that can give us some losses, So, what about you, Diego?
Diego? Oh.
But if anything, like back to the London trip, I think the second game, Topper shit the bed with the bullpen. You know, Soto is playing like Familia, like in a sense. You know, not as bad as him, but close to it. You know, and then Nick Castellanos with the double play. You know, you're getting paid big bucks, man. You need to show up and show out, like I think, personally, every day, you know. And he's the only guy, really, too, that hasn't had a day's rest. What, is Thompson scared of him? Like, give him say to him straight up, yo, you're having a seat. You need a day off. It happens with Rojas and the other guy, I think it was Bohm, who had 2 errors. They're sad. So, you know. Well, what were your thoughts,
my bad.
Diego?
My camera did this weird thing. Nick's been playing better as of late, though. He's hitting 2 homers in the last 3 games. I feel like he's been hitting the ball a little better.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. The thing with Castellanos is, I mean, he's just so streaky. You know what I mean? Like,
cold, yeah.
You know, he'll like Diego said. I mean, he's been hitting a little better the last few games, and then yesterday he's up in a big spot. You got the bases loaded, 1 out, and then he dribbles the ball. You know, and you get the game-ending double play. But I don't know. You know, I think one of these things. I like you said, like the Phillies are playing so good.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't want to nitpick, and it's kind of like I'm kind of to the point where it's like not like wake me in October, but kind of like, okay, let's just play well enough to lock up this number 1 seed. See what kind of moves they have to make. I mean, I was reading a few things. The Phillies. It says Dombrowski's interested in possibly adding an outfield bat. There's if Houston continues to falter, maybe there's a Kyle. Maybe you go out and get a Kyle Tucker. Now that would be a big move, or the kid from the White Sox,
Louis Roberts Jr.
There's a guy from the Diamondbacks, left-handed kid. I forget his name, but I was reading that the Phillies might have interest in somebody like that. Now he wouldn't be as big of a move as like a Tucker or the kid from the White Sox. But he can maybe be like a situational guy. Like maybe he plays center some days. Rojas plays center. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he plays center and left. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your guys' thoughts? I mean, I don't want to shit all over him because he's pitched really well, and I don't want to crap on him just for one bad outing. But like, what do you think of adding a bullpen arm? I mean, Alvarado has been good most of the year. But then, the one thing that scares me about Alvarado is when he loses his command and his control,
he's gone.
He's gone. So like, I'm kind of looking at what this team could do to get over the hump. And I'm thinking possibly add an outfield bat, and maybe add a bullpen guy. Diego, how concerned? I mean, I know it's only 1 game, but should we hope to add a bullpen bat just so you can kind of use Alvarado in like, not just as a closer, but other situations?
I mean, anytime you're a World Series contending team and you can add something to better your team, you do it. This is where Dombrowski has like he can kind of go reach for something. Go add something that we don't even really need or anything. Just bring it on. Make this team a little better in any position you can. So yeah, if you can add a bullpen guy and add another reliable arm, why wouldn't you? We have a chance to win the World Series.
Yeah, Paul Spencer with a comment about London. He says, baseball I get, but football, hell no. If it's my team, it was cool. 54,000 fans average for both days in London. Got Mike, or here's our man Mike Fuji with a comment. He says, "What's up, fellas? Happy Monday. What's up, Fuji? How you doing?"
What's up, Mike?
Fuji says a legit closer is what's needed. I wouldn't mind that just for the simple fact that, like, I like I like to be able to like use Alvarado in like the 6th inning or the 7th, like, you know how the playoffs are. I mean, you could have high leverage situations all the way down to like the fourth, fifth inning. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
say your starter doesn't really have it one night, and there's like a big lefty, you could go Strom, and maybe you don't want to go Strom early, but say you go Strom early, then there's like 2 innings later, you got another. For example, say you're playing the Dodgers and it's like the 6th inning and like Freeman's up or Ohtani, right? Freeman or Ohtani's up with like 2 guys on, and you don't want to, you want to save Alvarado to close because right now you don't have a closer. Well, if you have a closer, maybe you bring Alvarado in that situation to pitch to Ohtani because you got the closer later in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you want to give Rob Thompson as many bullets as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want that guy Mason Miller, like I said to you before, from Oakland. Whatever it takes, like we said, prospects. That's the only way, like you said, that's going to solidify, make every area stronger than what it already is. Whether it's outfielder or closer or bullpen.
Yeah, John Michael says, I'd love to add a bat in the outfield. Maybe I'm wrong, but despite the recent events, I still feel okay about in the pen. But if we could get a great closer, then I'm obviously in. I mean, I'm pretty much right where John Michael is. I mean, I do think our bullpen is pretty good.
Yeah.
But it just, I guess you think about it. I mean, we're almost, we're looking at this team and their record and everything. I mean, we're almost acting like we're Jay Leno, wanting to add another car. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But that's why I said we have a chance to win the World Series. So anytime you can make a World Series competitor better, why wouldn't you? But if you did it, you're already a World Series contender. So either way.
Yeah, and back to Dombrowski, he knows the league, he knows people, and he knows the players. So you kind of almost have a lot of trust in him to know what he's going to get, just like Gillett back in the day, a good baseball mind,
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, Dombrowski is like a Gillick. I mean, you look back when Gillick was here. I mean, no one knew who the hell Jason Worth was. Jason Worth had, he was a pretty good prospect who like broke his wrist. I think he was with the Dodgers, I believe. Okay, or one of the Dodgers or somebody else, but. And he was left out there. Gillick remembered his talent wise. He brings Worth in, and people forget. I mean, Jason Worth. If you look up Phillies postseason numbers, Jason Worth is like
he's
up there. He's up there. You know what I'm saying? Like Jason Worth was a hell of a player, and Dombrowski kind of does the same shit. I mean. 2 years ago, I mean, Diego and I were talking about this at work. I think one day they were playing in the afternoon, and I think Sosa had a big hit. And like, you remember they traded for Sosa like right around 2 years ago, right around at this time.
Yeah,
and we're looking, and we're looking, and they said Sosa was hitting like 180, and we're like, who the fuck's this dude? You know what I'm saying? And then like 2 years later, he comes to Philadelphia, works with Kevin Long. And this dude's like one of the best utility guys in all Major League Baseball. You know what I'm saying? Like Sosa's unreal. And then how about Hoffman? No one knew who the hell Hoffman was. He's sitting there chilling. I think he was pitching
with the Giants.
Right, yeah. And I think he was pitching to like Bryce Harper when like Bryce Harper was rehabbing.
Yes.
And Bryce is like, dude, this dude's pretty good. Now Hoffman's like one of the best closers in the game.
Right.
Or not closer, relief Jones.
Yeah, bullpen guys under the bullpen.
Back to your point, all these guys, it's like these guys step up in big moments. Your Sosa, like you said, Joe, hitting the ball and playing pretty solid defense too, because you got Trey. Everybody's saying, where's Trey? Well, Trey's on his way back, but these guys are producing, man. They're stepping up and contributing in big ways, like David Dahl yesterday. Gets called up, hits a nice home run. Weston Wilson, same thing. But like back to Diego's point, it's good to have these guys where you can count on and rely and know what they're going to give you instead of basically kind of shit in the bed, which is a bright spot. But like, yeah, John Michael said, Brandon Marsh's hamstring strain,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
Well,
got guys. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's funny. John Michael does what I do because he says Brad Morris and then he says Brad, and he obviously means Brandon.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. It's funny because Brad Morris was actually a pretty good acquisition too. He was like remember Brad Morris, Sean? He was like one of the last Flyers dudes without a helmet. Remember?
Yeah.
I remember that dude.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah,
I do that shit all the time. So
yeah, it's something though. But they're playing pretty good ball, man.
I would say, like Joe said, we're sitting here nitpicking the best team in baseball. Or the Yankees pass us?
I think we're kind of even. Well, the Yankees
won last night.
Yankees are 46-21. Phils are 45-20. I mean, they're
same record.
Yeah. That now you gotta love the people that panic when they lose. Get all your losses now, and then when it comes to crunch time, Red October, then let's talk.
Yeah,
and hopefully
that's another thing. When Nick Castellanos, you let him play because you pay him a lot of money, and if you're winning, you just hope he turns it on by the time that the playoffs come.
I think he gets it. He has to, because in Philly, we're gonna give it to you when you're on, when you're not on. It's like a love-hate relationship. You know what I mean? It's take it or leave, and if you got a soft backbone, say it.
Yeah.
See, the problem with Castellanos though is that like 1 week he's like Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus in his prime, like against the use a golf analogy, right? Like against the Braves, like he's crushing the fucking ball, right? Yeah. Then he goes against Arizona and he's like freaking shit. Who the hell's a golfer that blows? I just had it on my. He's like I don't know, like he's like Happy Gilmore, but without the drop, without being able to hit it long. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You know what I mean? Like Castellanos is either hit or miss.
I think it's the bat, man. He has a big bat. Like I think it's 34, maybe 35. Not too sure, but come on, man. And he's always swinging at low pitches. But you know what, though? At the end of the day, like we said, he's contributing in ways. So I'm cool with it. But if it's a bad streak, then his ass needs to sit.
Got a comment here, Mike Laura. He said, "What's up, boys? What's up, Mike? How you doing?" Check Mike out on Sunday mornings on the PM and the AM. So I was checking those guys out yesterday. They did a little pregame show, which I mean, hey, that must have been pretty cool because I mean, most of the time, if you're doing a show at 9 o'clock in the morning, you're not anticipating it being a pregame show, So that's one thing about the London show. John Michael here says Sean hit the nail on the head for Philly sports fans. We are hard on our players, but if you show heart and not be soft, we will stick with you. And it's why dudes stay here after they retire because they know we love them.
There you go, man. He couldn't have said it better. Yeah,
that's true. And unless you're a ginormous bitch like a Ben Simmons type guy.
Yeah, right. Mr. Softy, if you hear that.
You know what I'm saying?
If you weren't
I was fucking speaking of Ben Simmons, I was dying earlier. I was scrolling past. It was a picture of Lonzo Ball playing against Ben Simmons like one-on-one. It said ass sharpening ass.
Yeah.
It said iron sharpening iron. It said ass sharpening ass.
What a joke, man. Like, if he wasn't 6'10", we had this conversation. We could do it for another time. If he wasn't 6'10", he wouldn't be in the league and isn't shit. But, dude, did he steal the money like Shaq said? Mr. Softy at its finest.
I just don't think he loved playing basketball. But when he looked like he wanted to play basketball, Ben Simmons had a lot of talent. It's a shame to waste that kind of talent.
He wanted to.
But he's like it's a shame. All that talent, you don't just like let it go to waste.
It is a shame. Exactly, a waste of talent. and we all know that. And it's sad because he gets in a league, and we know damn well there's another kid out there that's hungry, just like him, and it doesn't happen to him, but it happens to Mr. Softy.
John Michael says he got to hang out with Freddie Mitchell. He straight up told me he got his balls broken a lot, but fans still show him love for 4th and 26. He lives downtown and said he's never leaving.
Yeah. How about that?
You know, it's funny. I always kind of liked Freddie Mitchell. I know he was like a quote unquote bust for where they picked him, but he did even other than 4th and 26, he did make a couple big catches for this team. You know what I mean? And anytime you heard him like interviewed or whatever, like he always showed Philly love. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like he just got it. You know what I mean? Like he's the kind of guy that gets it.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, like,
cool guy. Not that great of a player though.
No. But it's what's funny though. You talk about like it just goes to show you how like sometimes people are like boys and you wouldn't think they'd be boys just because like they're the opposite personalities. Like Freddie Mitchell and Chase Utley were like big time boys. Like they both went to UCLA. I think I don't know if they were roommates or whatever, but
they were tight though. Yeah, they were tight. You're right.
It's just yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like funny because sometimes you'd look and you'd be like, well, Chase seems like he's so like quiet and like other than when he was at the parade and he said world fucking champs. You know what I mean? Get him Chase. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. He just needs a couple pops. You know what I mean?
He needs,
right.
Let loose, break the ice. World bleeping champions, baby. I'll never forget that. Yeah,
that was great, man. What a day.
Yeah, Paparell bringing his bulldog. Dude, doesn't get no better than that.
Hey, well, I mean, here's hoping we get to experience that again this year. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe we'll have a rematch of 2009, except hopefully this time we win. You know what I'm saying?
Is Ranger gonna continue to play this way the rest of the year?
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean,
he's sick.
Yeah, he's Ranger Danger. He's just got that ice in his veins, man. It was kind of scary because all of us were off when he got hit in the throwing hand. I'm like, shit. But
talking about control, give us Rangers control to Alvarado, and he'd be fucking the best closer in baseball.
Yeah, sprinkle it on. Yeah,
I know. You know what though? It's got it. I mean, you think about it. I mean, when you throw that freaking hard, I mean, it's gotta be hard to control that, John. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
like driving a car. It's like driving a car. It's like driving a car. The faster you drive it, the harder it is to control it.
And you know what? If you think about it, sometimes these closers, when they have a little bit of lack of control, it could be intimidating as a hitter. Like imagine you're a hitter and you're going against like Wild Thing, like Ricky Vaughn. He's throwing like 100 miles an hour. You're up there like, oh shit, like you know what I mean? Like you can't help but be a little bit antsy because you're like, yo, I might have to move.
I feel like that's like what what was his name? Aroldis Chapman.
I just was going to say,
yeah,
with the Yankees or even
Bobby Wagner used to come in and throw heat too.
5'11", dude, 5'11", throwing that heat, and like we said, they have that control, and it's just coming right down the pipe. Like you said, it's like it's killed or be killed, man. But yeah, when they're throwing on point, yeah, it's scary.
Who's the dude right now in the league that throws like 105 miles an hour or something like that?
The kid. Well, there's a few guys, but the kid from Pittsburgh, Paul Skeens. He's a
starter pitcher. I got him.
Yeah. I mean, he's unreal, bro.
He's filthy, man.
Yeah, he throws like 100. Like a couple. Like I think I watched one of his starts. Like I mean, I wasn't watching it, but I had it on at work one day. I was kind of like glancing at it.
Yeah.
And dudes from the Cubs were coming up trying to hit him, and like they they might as well not even have put the batting helmet on. Like they should have just come up with the glove. Like they had no shot. You know what I mean? It basically was like, all right, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Like
I watched him give gas to Ohtani, and he got Ohtani out.
yeah. John Michael with a comment. He said his girl is hot as hell too. LOL. Life is unfair. Yeah, I forget her name. She's like
She's a gymnast.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
I forget her name, but yeah, she's pretty smoking. So, hey, that's what happens when you can throw 100 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
He's throwing that heat, baby.
He's throwing that heat.
Maurice Wright says Duran throws a fast.
Yeah, from Minnesota. He's right. Johan Duran. But yeah.
So, all right. Well, look, I mean, let's look at this. Let's make a quick little prediction for this week. So the Phillies got. I don't have it in front
Boston.
of me. I know they play Boston. Is it 2 in Boston or 3? You know.
I think it's 2, Joe, and I think it's 3 in Baltimore.
Yeah. So this will be a test. I mean, because you got the O's are right behind the Yankees. The O's are 42 and 22. They're only 2.5 games out. And then even Boston. Boston's not great, but Boston's 500, 33 and 33. And anytime you got to go to Fenway, you got to deal with the Green Monster. I mean, Boston. A lot of times, even when Boston sucks, they're still decent at home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
right.
Hang on. Mike Laura with a comment here. He said 3 versus Boston, 3 versus Baltimore. All right, cool. All right, so 6. All right, so how are before we come on here next week, these 6 games, how are the Phils doing?
I say 4-2. 4-2 out of them 6 games.
4-2. Okay, Sean.
Yeah, I'm right there with him.
4-2. All right.
What would that be? 49 and what? 22.
That would put us 49 and 22.
Yeah.
I'm actually going with John Michael. John Michael says 3-3, which isn't bad, coming off a long trip to England and 2 good teams. Because I mean, hey, I'm hoping for 4-2, like y'all said, but sometimes you take that long ass plane ride, it might you might be a little beat for a day or two. Maurice Wright says Baltimore is the test. Just rode through Maryland twice in 2 days. I bet that series will be interesting and hot. Yeah, I mean this Orioles team's really good. I mean, if it wasn't for how good the Yankees are playing, Baltimore would be in first place. I mean, shit,
yeah, it's amazing.
500. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're stacked. You got Gunnar Henderson, Rauchman, Mountcastle, Ryan O'Hearn. They're pretty stacked up. It's almost kind of similar to us, minus the pitching, hitting wise. But
yeah, so that's a little Phils right there. Not too much Eagles news. I mean, did you guys happen to notice the they had the what was it, a mandatory mini camp last week?
Yes.
I don't know if you heard WIP, but WIP was trying to make a big thing about they asked Jalen Hurts about Nick Sirianni, in the offense, and what he thinks about Sirianni, and he kind of I don't know, he was getting criticized.
Really much.
Yeah, he kind of laughed, kind of implying, people were jumping the gun, saying he was kind of implying Nick Sirianni was almost like a clown. I don't want to make too much into that, but I don't know. What was your guys' thought? Did you guys have any opinion of that, or you think it's much ado about nothing?
Kind of might have to do a little bit with something, but I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I think it's just Sirianni and Steichen, you know what I mean? Where Steichen was calling all the plays. And now it's similar. He's going to have Kellen Moore running the offense, different, more man in motion, involved the tight end, stuff like that. So I mean, Chiriani is what I like to call him because he always is, running his mouth, all giddy and all this other stuff. I mean, I think he's on a thin leash, but Howie and Lurie got their yes man, and that's Sirianni. But I wouldn't play too much into it. I think Hurts needs to have a lights out season, and I think Kellen Moore's the guy just to do it.
I agree.
Maurice Wright with a comment here. He says it's going to be really interesting to see how they finalize the roster, who they keep and who they cut. A lot of add-ons during the offseason. A few will be on the roster come September. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that I took from – I mean, can you really take that much from minicamp? I don't necessarily think so. But one of the things that was really encouraging was that it seemed like each day, like the people that were the people that were reporting from there said a different defensive back was like the standout. Like one day it was Keely Ringo. The next day it was like Isaiah Rodgers,
Mitchell,
Quinyon Mitchell, even Cooper DeJean. I mean, you look at this football team and, it was, not even arguably, it definitely was the worst secondary in the National Football League last year. And now all of a sudden you're looking and you're like, okay, you got Slay, Slay coming back. You got Quinyon Mitchell. You got Isaiah Rodgers, Keely Ringo. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to say an embarrassment of riches, but there's going to be a couple guys that maybe are decent football players that get cut from this team now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Bradbury going to like safety, trying his thing at safety? You like that? Or you think it's just like an audition to be like, look, we're going to see your ass at another position. And we're going to try to trade your ass. And supposedly the Colts are interested somewhat.
He can go. I'll drive him. I drove out to Indianapolis 2 years ago. I did Notre Dame and then the Eagles Colts the next day. No problem. I volunteer to drive Bradbury. Bradbury, if you need a ride, bro, hook you up. All right.
No one's going to take Bradbury.
No.
We're going to have to cut.
Yeah. We'd have to cut him. And the thing with him moving the safety, I don't think that's shit. I mean, because Bradbury's not that great of a tackler. So how are you going to put a guy who's not that great of a tackler?
Exactly. I
don't see him as safety. He's a quarterback and he's burnt toast now. So
you got that right.
What do you guys think of Mike Fuji's comment here? He says Fredo Sirianni is on a short leash.
I agree.
Yeah, I said that.
Eagles come out and struggle this year. I wouldn't be surprised he gets fired middle of the year. Kellen Moore takes over.
Hello, Kellen. Because they wanted Kellen Moore real quick before they got Sirianni, but Moore went to San Diego.
Yeah, what do you guys think of this? John Michael says, guys, not to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm worried about the Eagles coming off a collapse, and the vibes still seem bad there.
Nah.
I'm not worried about them. I think they're going to be what they are, a really, really good team.
See, I don't know about the vibes. Like, I think what he's implying is Hurts because like a lot of people, you wonder. I mean, like I said, I don't want to read too much into Hurts's comments because that I just don't like doing that. But like, that could be a concern maybe because if the quarterback and the coach aren't on the same page, is that a problem? But most of the rest of the team seems to be getting along good. Like, supposedly there's reports that like, Saquon Barkley and a lot of these guys, are going golfing all the time and doing different things. So, Mikkel, I'm kind of intrigued to see Mekhi Becton. He was interviewed and he said that he couldn't wait to come here and work under Stoutland. You know what I mean? So like, is a guy like Becton going to, is he going to compete at the right guard with Steen and maybe Stoutland can unlock one of those guys' potential? You know what I'm saying? Because they're both big ass dudes.
Yeah.
The one thing Stoutland said about Steen that I thought was kind of, it could be coach speak. He could be just trying to, give him confidence. But he said that Steen kind of reminds him of like a Brandon Brooks, and I was like, whoa, okay, all right. Now is he just talking shit? Or
Nah, I think he's giving him that praise, Joey. I see it. He said he's stronger. He's taller than Brooks. He's stronger. So, I mean, it's next man up mentality. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. You guys have like a sleeper draft pick or a player that you see that a guy's going to stand out?
Do I have a sleeper draft
both,
pick?
yeah.
Not necessarily a draft pick, but I'll tell you,
No, it could be a veteran pick. It could be a draft pick. Anybody that we got.
Well, I'll give you one. It seems like, and again, we'll see what happens when they actually put the pads on. But the kid Bourne, is it from the Saints? He's right now he's ahead of Nakobe Dean. Like, I wonder, okay, is there something that Vic Fangio sees in that kid that maybe unlocks him?
Possibly.
We'll see. Cataldi said the Eagles win 5 games. Cataldi's nuts. Eagles will win 5 games. Eagles will win more than 5 games with Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I disagree with that. And then John Michael says, well, for context, in 2017, I picked the Eagles to stink and miss the playoffs. They won the Super Bowl, so I'm not that smart. Hey, you know what though? That's better, because I mean, if Lieb was here, he says the Super Bowl every year, and he's only been right one time. So,
yeah. So
we'll take that. We'll take that with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you a guy that's right all the time. My man Jason Fine. If you were out there and you slip and fall, you know what I'm saying? You get hurt on the job. My man's going to get you paid. So make sure you call Jason Fine, Attorney Big Al, 1-800-HURT-123. He's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey, 1 in Philadelphia, PA, 1 in Cherry Hill, and 1 in Pittsburgh, PA. Anybody out there, next I want to get in this NBA Finals, and really disappointed in this series so far. I mean, I'm really hoping that Dallas could find a way to make this a series. But right now, Boston just looks like they are just, a cut above. But anyway, if, the next game, I think, starts at like 8:30, probably won't be over till about midnight almost, 11:30, midnight. So if you're up late and, if you're up late and you're struggling a little bit the next day, make sure you try the best coffee in the land. It's Monkey's Cold Coffee. You could use the promo code #OOTBS Sports at monkeycoldcoffee.com. They have a newest flavor is honey agave, and make sure you tell them the Sully Squad sent you. So, all right. Like I said, any other interesting things from this mini camp that you guys grasp, or pretty much it's standard business.
No. Standard business.
I want to see Saquon tear the Giants up. That's all. Done.
Shall be the answer.
All right. So Saquon could say, well, hey, I will definitely take that. That's for sure. All right. Well, here's something else here. So what do you guys think of, right now, like I said, I touched on the NBA. Right now you got NBA finals, NHL finals. I want to get a little Sixers, free agency, but we're kind of, let's keep it real. It's kind of the calm before the storm. I mean, nothing's really going to happen. When's the NBA draft is what? What are we about?
This week, next week. June 27th. June 27th, 28th. Yeah.
All right. So we're roughly,
2 weeks away.
We're roughly 17 days away from the NBA draft. We're about that from the NHL draft. And then you got NBA free agency. All the talk is Sixers going to go after hopefully to get a Paul George or try to add a third star. So all that stuff, we're kind of in a waiting pattern for that. But right now we got NBA finals and NHL finals going on. Sean, have you seen any of these NBA finals? Like, what's your thoughts on the first 2 games? You know, it just I guess what I'd ask you is Boston's up 2-0. Does Dallas have a chance to at least make this a series, or are we looking at either a sweep or a gentleman's sweep?
Probably, I'm hoping for a good series, but the first two games, to your point, didn't look too good. What were the Dallas down by 18 or whatever? It's something like that, you know. But all in all, you know, Boston just looks so strong. Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, you know. I'd like to see Dallas come back. They're at home, 2 games, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you're when you're home in the playoffs, you hit your shot more. So Luka had to do everything by himself on the road. Kyrie didn't even help him. So I think he'll get more help at home. They got to win game 3. They win game 3, they get some confidence, then just take care of business at home. It's a 2-2 series. You know, Luka's the best player in the series, though, by far.
Mm-hmm.
His hand's broken, and he started triple-double yesterday.
I know it's unreal. I mean, like I mean, the way I'm looking at it's like, you know, if I'm a Dallas fan, I'm extremely discouraged because last night Boston really didn't play well last night. I mean, they didn't shoot well. You know, they shot horribly well. I mean, horribly. Excuse me. You know, Tatum still isn't shooting well. But
Wow.
the bottom line is though, Boston is just so deep. They're so deep. They're so good defensively that even when they don't play even when they play their B or C game, Dallas just doesn't have enough. I mean, you know,
there's always a player for Boston that when their other players are struggling, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, that like Holiday, for example, scores 17. Whenever they need a player to help them, they have that player. Porzingis 18 in the first half of game 1.
Yeah.
You know, like they're really complete, and every time they're not like superstar dependent. Derek White can get hot. Drew Holiday can get hot. Porzingis gets hot. Jaylen Brown can drop 40. Tatum can drop 40. They don't really have a bench, but they don't need a bench.
Yeah.
Well, and you know the other thing about their guards too. I mean, Drew Holiday and Derek White defensively are out of this world. They're both outstanding defensive players, and like you said, Diego. I mean, you know, Luka. The thing that I was noticing is it seems like Dallas. You know, every time Dallas would go on a run or something, it seemed like they had to break their fucking balls. Like Luka literally would have to break his balls, or even Kyrie would have to break his balls doing something. Boston would just come right down, and they would just and you know they would just dribble drive. I mean, you know the problem. Dallas played much better defensively last night, but Dallas can't. They can't keep Boston in front of them. Boston literally can just penetrate anytime they want, and it leads to wide open shots. And the only thing that kept Dallas in the game last night was that Boston wasn't hitting their open shots. You know,
well, as good as Luka is, they go after him on defense like every play.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what it reminded me of? You know what it reminded me of? And to John's point here, historic tank for multiple years just to watch your bitter rival win a title.
So JJ Redick or something.
What's that?
Like JJ Redick. Remember when JJ Redick played for the Sixers?
That's what I was about to say. I literally was having flashbacks of like 2018, where like every single possession down the court, they would find a way to isolate JJ Redick, and you'd be like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean? And either his guy would score, or they would get past them, and then they get a wide open, you know, an alley oop or a wide open shot, and that just that's the problem. And you know the thing with Dallas, like you know, I think Dallas gets 1. Maybe they get game 3. You know, provided that Luka's not so banged up. Like, here's the thing, right? Like Luka, you know, he had a triple dub last night. He played extremely well, but he's so banged up. Like, so you wonder, you know, is he going to even be able to keep doing this? You know what I'm saying? But maybe you get maybe when you go home to Dallas, you get Luka getting you 30, maybe Kyrie could get you 30. And then you got to hope that, like you said, Diego, your role players who play better at home, you need like your Derrick Jones to hit you open shots. You need like the PJ Washington hasn't played that bad, but you need him to up his game even more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, dude, Boston's such a mismatch for everybody. Like they even on offense, right? They switch everything. And whoever you get switched on to is a great defender. Tatum, great defender. Brown, great defender. Like you said, White, Drew, Horford. You know, even Porzingis can play a little defense. You can't really attack them anywhere. So if you don't hit your shots every 4 times a series, you can't beat them. There's nowhere to attack them.
No, I mean, I got predictions down there. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I think this series ends in 5. I think Dallas finds a way. I think Luka finds a way to not get swept, just because, I mean, he finds a way to not get swept. So maybe they take 3. Boston wins game 4 on Friday, and then they close them out whenever game 5 is in Boston. And as Sixers fans, I got to be sick watching them put up an 18th banner.
Well,
yeah. Minnesota went up 2-0 on Dallas.
No,
right?
Dallas went 2-0 on Minnesota.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
no,
I think
no, you know what it was? I think OKC, went up 2-1. It was something like that, or maybe I forget. So you're right. So somebody. I mean, Dallas did have to play from behind one of these series. I just forget which one.
I think OKC won both in OKC. Then Dallas won both in Dallas.
I think you're right. Yeah. That's it.
But either way, I think it depends what happens in game 3. If you lose game 3, like you said, Luka might steal game 4 because Boston's like, all right, let's go win back in game our home court game 5. But man, I don't know if you can count Luka out. But he is beat up. So I would say it was like an 85% chance the series is over.
Yeah. He had mad ice on his knees, boy. His knees were hurting.
Think he has a chest injury, an ankle injury, a knee injury. He's beat up all over the place.
Yeah, he took a charge in game 1, and he kind of laid down for a little bit, and then like last night before the game, it looked like some dude was coming over and like wrapped his stomach up. I don't know what. Maybe they gave him a heating pad or something. I don't know what it was, but
you probably did.
It just goes to show you that what a great player. I mean, he's out there. You know what I'm saying? Like he's out there in like pain. He's out there hobbled around, and Christ, he's still putting up triple dubs. You know?
Yeah, he's nasty.
He's just that ball player, man. I like the way he plays. He's tough, gritty. You know.
Well, everyone knows in this NBA, you can't win by yourself. There's too many good shooters. There's too many good players. There's too many athletic guys. You need help from the guys around you to win if you're a star. You know?
Yeah, you need a supporting cast. Absolutely.
No, you know what I noticed, and I saw this. Somebody posted this on X or whatever. Now, Tatum, in all fairness to Tatum's not shooting that great, but Tatum's playing a really good overall game. He's doing a lot of stuff. He's getting assists. He's playing good defense.
And he's getting great. He's getting a lot of boards.
Right, but someone posted on X basically saying if Embiid played like Tatum instead of being up 2-0, the Sixers would be getting smoked. And that just goes to show you the difference between the Sixers and this Boston team. I mean, Embiid has Maxey to help him and not much else. This Boston team, I mean, think about it. I'm going to say when they win the title, because I'll be shocked if Dallas comes back and wins 4 out of 5 to win this championship. I would be shocked almost as much as I was when the Red Sox came back in 2004 down 3-0. You know what I mean? Like I would be absolutely floored. But But if Boston does win this, you got to give a lot of credit to Brad Stevens. I mean, Brad Stevens was a really good coach. He moves to general manager, and you look at the moves this guy made. I mean, 2 years ago he trades like Josh Richardson and change. He goes out and gets Derek White. What an acquisition! I mean, Derek White. You could argue Derek White's the most unsung player on this Boston team. I mean, that guy does everything.
Yeah, you can argue that.
Then last, and that was 2 years ago. Then last offseason, he goes out and gets Drew Holiday. What was that? A 3-way deal, I guess it was. And I'm sorry, he got traded to Portland for whatever it was. But and Diego, you and I said at the time that Milwaukee would miss Drew Holiday, and they do. I mean, Dame Lillard is a great player, but Drew Holiday does all the little things that win. And then,
look, he can also get you a bucket too. Like I said, 17 in the first half, game 2. That's the key. Like Tatum got some points in the second half. Porzingis a little better. Jaylen Brown. So like, he's that kind of player. He doesn't have to be the star, but when you need him to be a star-like player, he can be.
I know. You know what? It's such a shame. I mean, obviously you can't pick when you have players, but the Sixers had Drew Holiday years ago, and then of course he was the first guy we traded to start the process.
Yes.
And in all fairness, listen, I like Drew Holiday as a player, but I'm not pining over trading Drew Holiday because
Drew Holiday wasn't this kind of player.
No,
right,
he wasn't.
But
he's matured into the player he is.
Right, but not just that though. But if you don't trade Drew Holiday, you never get Embiid because the team would have won enough games to not get Embiid.
And no guarantee Drew Holiday grows into the player he grew into today. He had to go to like magic for teams, learn from a lot of different coaches, learn a lot of different things around the league, and that's how you better the game. You know what I mean? That's all part of like his journey. So it's always hard to be like, but in hindsight 2020. He'd be like perfect for this team.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I was about to say. I was going to say that I'm not pining for him, but boy, it's a damn shame that Drew Holiday is exactly the guy we'd need next to Maxey. You know what I'm saying? Like he'd be the perfect fit next to Maxey. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just a shame you can't get a time machine and like just pluck Drew Holiday now, be like, all right, we're gonna get Drew Holiday and put him on the Sixers team,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I mean, at least we're not saddled with Tobias Harris for another year.
I know, thank God.
Yeah, so we'll
crumble cookie piece.
We'll these final, in my opinion, these finals will be over by the time we're talking next. So if that, then we'll be on, we'll hopefully Daryl Morey could work his magic with actually having some money. He's not hamstrung with friggin', Toby's contract, which is a friggin' albatross, and we'll see what he can do,
Yep.
What do you guys think about this? Paul
I'm
Spencer
glad he didn't go there.
Yeah, glad to see Hurley stay at UConn and say no to the $70 million from the Lakers. And Tomlin with the Steelers, they become staple pieces of franchise. I'll tell you what, I mean, granted, I know $70 million is a shit ton of money, but like long term, I actually think Hurley made the right choice because he could stay at UConn, win another national title or two. He'll still make really good money in UConn. The bottom line is he goes to the Lakers. What do you got? Couple more years of LeBron? I mean, the Lakers aren't even close to winning anything.
I was going to say the Lakers are not in a great situation.
No, so
they're not going to win next year. LeBron still has a couple years left, so that's going to hinder you being able to get a number 1 pick and really build your own team. Why would he want to do that? He still makes $36 million in UConn.
Yeah, Paul Spencer says it had a lot to do with LeBron controlling the entire team. Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest with you. I know historically that Lakers job is very marketable, and I'm sure, I mean, hey, it's Los Angeles. I mean, they're always going to get someone, but like to me, if I'm a top coach, I don't really want to deal with like the last 2 years of LeBron James not ready to win. Now, it'd be different. Like, now I say that with LeBron on the Lakers. If you told me right now the Sixers could add LeBron, well, I'd be thrilled, because I think if you put LeBron with Embiid and Maxey, the Sixers would have a legit 2-year window. But LeBron for LA in that Western Conference, I mean, in my opinion, the best they're going to do in LA is be in the play in the next couple of years, just like they were the last couple.
Right, I agree.
Just give it to JJ Redick. Stop with all this BS and give it to JJ Redick. For the coach, I think he kind of deserves it. You know what I mean? Because what else is out there? And Jay Wright, just stay what you're doing, commentating. You don't need to go to that shit show. Well,
they were saying, I mean, and let's be honest. I'm a JJ Redick fan, but I don't know if I can necessarily say he deserves to be the coach.
No,
I mean,
but by the same token, though, I kind of understand why they want to give it to him, because they're saying they're kind of comparing him to like a modern day Pat Riley. You know what I mean? Like Redick's kind of he's got the look, he's got the. I mean, Redick is a charismatic dude. Like when you hear Redick talk, Redick is a really good speaker. I can see why. I can see why you'd want to hire Redick as the face of a franchise. You know what I mean? Like I can see what they want to do. But, I mean, as far as deserving, I think that's more of like a, what do you call it? It's more of a projection. You know what I'm saying?
I think he least deserved it.
Well, I mean, basically what it kind of is that if he gets that job, it's basically because he's got playing experience, because
and LeBron's his boy.
And LeBron's his boy. Let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. And Hurley's like, I don't want to go to a team being controlled by LeBron James. That's true.
And JJ Redick is kind of like, well, you know what? I like working for ESPN, but I could literally be the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. You know what? I'm going to take that job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which for JJ Redick, I 100% think it's a great career move. For the guy Hurley from UConn, I totally see why he didn't take the job. He's in a great situation.
Exactly. Coaching young men for the next level. And, dude, that's his program. He built that, And this draft this season, you're going to see a lot of UConn kids with a lot of talent get drafted. And then, like, the years to come, too. I think they got 2 5-star chippers, I mean, it doesn't get no better than that. And like you said, Joe, he's meant for that team. He is the face of UConn.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. Don't get me wrong. I know the pros and the NBA and the NFL. Like, of course, they're like the greatest proving grounds, in sports. But like to me, in modern day sports, like, if I'm a college coach, I mean, it would take a hell of a lot to get me to leave that job. You know what I'm saying? I would take the hell of a lot because, think about it. Once you win in college, like you're a legacy. I mean, you could be there like forever. You know what I mean? Like nobody's getting rid of your ass.
Look at Jim Calhoun. Perfect example, Yeah.
What do you think? Paul Spencer says he thinks Chris Quinn or Kenny Atkinson. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you, Atkinson kind of got a raw deal. I think he did a hell of a job at the Nets. Like they when he was their coach, they had like they had like D'Angelo Russell and a bunch of dudes, and he won a bunch of games. And then they
did him dirty.
They did well. You know what that was. KD wanted to name
Steve Nash.
Guys. Yeah, so he brought Steve Nash in, another guy that let's keep it real. Steve Nash didn't deserve shit. You know what I mean? But hey, what's the saying? A lot of time, 99% of this world isn't what you know; it's who you know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you know the right person, you're in there. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So we're all in agreement that we think this series is pretty much over.
Yeah.
All right, and then hang on. I got one more comment, and then I want to just do one NHL prediction, and we'll get out of here. Paul Spencer says, I'm glad Hurley stayed. 2 juniors stayed in school, top 25 picks this year in draft because of the coach. Yeah.
Yeah, said that. Yeah, absolutely. Gets no better.
Before we roll out of here, any thoughts on the NHL finals? I admit I didn't see a second of it Saturday night, but it looked like Florida beat Edmonton. Bobrovsky supposedly stood on his head, and that goes down as one of the Flyers' ultimate horrible moves. Bobrovsky, it's amazing the career that kid's had, and the Flyers let him go. So, game 2 of that is tonight. What's your thoughts on game 2, and what's your predictions on the series?
Edmonton ties it up tonight.
Yeah.
Good, because I don't want to see Florida win this friggin' Stanley Cup.
You want to see a different team, different faces. Yeah, I'm with you.
Got 2 comments. Mike Loro says Florida in 5. God, I hope not.
I think Florida wins the series. I like Edmonton tonight.
Yeah, that shit would mean so much to Canada. Like, can you imagine? Like, Canada, like the whole friggin' country would be celebrating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In Florida, they might have like a parking lot. They'd be like, oh,
maybe.
We want to
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Paul Spencer says here, he says, need the Panthers tonight. Panthers over 5 tonight with a Connor McDavid goal. It's
I'm
funny.
about to get a dinner McDavid after the show.
No, what's funny? I was thinking that, John, too, because sometimes I eat before. I'm actually getting kind of hungry, so
I'm sorry. Can't wait for my dinner McDavid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got my dinner McDavid downstairs waiting for me.
Yeah. I was gonna say maybe dinner might be on Paul Spencer's mind too, because sometimes a lot of times he posts on Facebook like these fire ass meals.
Yeah.
He can whip up a meal.
Yeah,
shame he's up there and not down here, because every time I look at that shit, I'm like, damn, that's mouthwater, and it looks delicious, man. But props to him on cooking.
I know we went up to his crib last year. We saw Phillies. He
Pirates.
lives in Johnstown, so we went up to see Phillies Pirates, and we stayed at his crib, and he made these banging ass tacos, man. They're really good, and I'm sitting there. I think Phillies play Pittsburgh there again this year on a weekend. So I'm gonna wrap to him. Maybe I'll be making another trip up there. Having a little out of the box weekend. Got John Michael with a comment here. He says, I'd love to see a team from Canada win for once. John Michael with another comment. He says, plus, did you see the video of the chick flashing?
Yes.
Yes,
I did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going to say, You know what? When I saw them, Jules, you remember Seinfeld? Remember the Seinfeld where Terry Hatcher goes, they're real and they're spectacular?
Yeah.
I was thinking that, John, the whole time she flashed them Johns, man. They look good. They were nice. Yeah. So go Edmonton, if for nothing else, to make that girl have a smile.
Yeah, I'm right there with John. I like to see Edmonton win.
Paul Spencer says, LOL, anytime, boys, doors always open. All right, bet. So, and if we go again, we just got to make sure Dave remembers his ID. It's amazing. Not to break his balls.
Are you serious?
No, listen to this crap.
Oh, God.
Dude, we're all in our mid-40s, or like mid-40s, early 50s, and we're going to a bar. And the dude's like, "Oh, do you?" I started laughing because the guy was like, "Oh, do you have your ID?" And I'm like, "Yo," I'm like, "This dude's like 50, dude." Like, you know what I'm saying? There's, anyway, not to hammer him, but anyway, we'll have to do that next time. You know what I'm saying?
Before we go, too, I'd like to give a shout out to my little cousin, man. LaSalle High School just beat Hazleton 10-4 off to Penn State for the championship states.
Nice baseball.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
That team's loaded, bro. But yeah, my cousin just texted me, so
nice.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get that championship. And hang on, I got one more comment before we get out of here. Oops, shit. Hold up. Oh, here we go. One more. Paul Spencer, yes, Dave with the ID, but that waitress was hot as hell. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, we went to this burgatory place, and it was it was banging. So, but
Why you end that so quick, Joey? Why are you ending that conversation so quick?
What are you talking about?
That burger place was good. See you later,
It was
guys.
great. Yeah, definitely. That was good burger. No, because I'm getting hungry, dude. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I got to
bust
get a
up.
dinner McDavid. I know. I'm with you.
Dinner McDavid. Peace out,
Right.
guys.
Go dinner, McDavid. Go Edmonton. Hopefully that nice young lady has a reason to celebrate. Go. So we'll see you guys next week. Go Phils, and peace.
Peace.